They need to go out. They need to go out. It's time to go out, I think.
Yeah, for all of us, I guess.
Yeah.
Hi everyone and welcome to Ask Me Doctor Season 3, a health video series for you and your family. I'm Mahira Khan from motherhood.com.my. Today we'll be discussing a method that I feel is close to heart for the majority of parents out there. With the sudden emergence of COVID-19 in our lives, our lifestyle as we know it has changed so much and it affects our children just as much as it affects us. As a parent myself, I know that it leaves us with more questions than answers, but ultimately our goal is to ensure that our children have the very best that they can get during these trial times. Luckily, we're here today to answer all these questions and to better help us understand how COVID-19 pandemic is affecting children's development. We have Dr. Vijaya Mohan, a pediatrician at Columbia Asia Cheras, to give us a better understanding. Hi doctor,
Hello.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you. Good morning to you.
So, would you like to introduce yourself before we start?
My name is Dr. Vijaya, as introduced. I've been working as a pediatrician since the year 2005. I started in Sungai Petani and I did about 2 years in Sungai Petani. I was in AIMS lecturer for about 3 to 4 years.
Oh.
Then in Penang for a year, and I've been in Columbia Cheras for the past 10 years.
Wow, it's a lot of experience.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I have a lot of questions for you today. Shall we jump to it?
Yes, we can do the question.
Okay, so my first question for you. With COVID-19 around us, we've been forced to stay home a lot, children are not going to school. So with this new norm, how does the lack of cognitive and social stimulation affect children?
I think it affects everybody, including adults as well.
Right.
And children somewhat tend to cope better, some of them, and some kids don't cope too well.
Right.
So they have different issues depending on the family place, the size of the family. If there are many in the house, then they're better. Those with single child, those children are a bit delayed, sometimes speech, because there's nobody to interact with.
Right.
And I do see some kids coming to the clinics and they have speech delay. The interaction is poor, they just so socially, they haven't interacted at all. So
It's
that's
so isolated, right?
Yeah, so that's affecting many of the kids today.
Oh.
And I think it'll take some time for them to come out of it as well.
So my second question for you is, how does social restrictions affect children's interpersonal skills? So you know, like children nowadays have this heightened sense of awareness not to touch things.
Yes.
Can it affect them being a team player later on?
I think all these things, there are also some good things that came of COVID. We are more aware of viruses.
Right.
And people are more aware of personal hygiene.
Right.
So they're washing their hands, they're using hand sanitizers. And so those are good things, and there's more awareness of viruses.
Yeah.
But it will take time for them to interact with people because the fear is there today. The fear of the virus by interaction. But I think being kids, over time, they will overcome their fears and they will be team players and they'll be quite happy to go to school again.
Alright, so my third question for you is, can you briefly explain to us what are some of the long-term effects on children living during this pandemic?
Children, in the sense, they have good resilience, which means they can adapt quite well. So I think the long term, children will just adapt to the new normal. For them, wearing a face mask will be something they're quite used to. I think the older people will find it more difficult to adapt sometimes. Wearing a mask, they do forget.
Right.
But kids in general, they learn very fast. The parents say, okay, let's go out, they're going to look for the mask.
Right.
And then they're going to get a hand sanitizer. So that could be a new norm for some time to come. And I think that's a good thing that, I think kids, we don't have to worry too much. They eventually adapt, They're quite resilient.
More resilient than us adults. Children, basically, they have higher energy levels. So how can restricting that energy level affect them, by staying home? So
by staying home, actually, they don't have enough physical activity.
Yeah.
Physical activity in children releases a lot of hormones, oxytocin, the happy hormones. So if they're not getting enough playtime, they're going to get affected.
Right.
So I will always advise parents to take them out to the field, have some fun,
Yeah.
Only then they're happy and they're not so stressed staying at home.
Yeah.
School, same thing. I think when they go to school, they're going to meet their friends. It's going to be a playtime. You cannot tell kids, go to school, no playing, So they're going to have fun in school. And over time, they'll get over this pandemic and the stress that they have at home. Can
you maybe tell us how it can affect their behavior by not releasing that energy, by just...
Yes, so they're going to be quiet. They're going to be stressed at home. Some of them show anger tantrums.
Right.
Poor appetite, not eating well. Many of them not eating well. And irritability. They get angry very fast. So that's happening a bit already. I can see them in the clinic.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get to go out more and those things are reduced. But I do see kids with problems.
Yeah, and obviously to overcome that is by taking them out more,
That's right, that's
like as you said, like to parks.
They can go to open spaces.
Open
Yeah,
spaces,
that's right.
yes.
And they can have, they need to go out. They need to go out. It's time to go out, I think.
Yeah, for all of us, I guess. All right, my next question for you is how stress experienced by parents has an effect on children?
So stress by the parents definitely affects children.
Yep.
Because they look at their parents and look at if the parents are stressed, the children get stressed as well. So it's important for parents not to stress children up too much with their workload at home. Many are working from home.
Yep.
And they have their own stresses with work.
Yep.
Children don't understand what's working from home or working from the office. So we need to not stress yourself too much at home. The kids are going to be there. So I think over time as parents go back to work, that will de-stress the kids as well.
Yeah.
And so I think parents have to go back to work sometime to their offices.
In your opinion, do you think that online learning works for children?
Personally, I don't think so. If it's for a short period, I think kids are fine. They're quite excited with the online learning.
Yeah.
But if it goes on for a few months and months, they start losing interest and they start their skills. They lose their skills as well, the classroom skills. And I think when they don't see their friends, there's no motivation for them to study sometimes, So a lot of things happen in the class. Online is fine, short period, but I think after that, you have to go back to school. There's some kids, of course, don't have the opportunity for proper online device, poor internet, and they are affected even more.
Right.
So we need to look at everybody, and I think the only way is to start school again, to be fair to everybody.
Okay, and my final question for you is how can we recognize signs of stress in children?
So signs of stress, like I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, they're anxious, they are poor appetite, they show tantrums, things like that, and change of behavior at home. They're not mixing much with the rest of the family. So we need to identify those children at home early.
Right.
Parents can also do more things, show love. They can play games with them at home. But I think parents should identify my child has a problem early.
And they can do that by seeing changes in behavior.
Yeah, that's right. Eating habits.
Eating habits as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I've noticed is eating habits is a problem now. They're not eating, and they're losing weight actually.
Because when you're not feeling well, you don't have appetite.
Yes,
right?
also. Plus, just at home, the hormones are not there. The happy hormones are not coming out.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Vijaya, for taking the time off to talk to us. As a final note, what tips or advice can you give to parents out there during the pandemic?
Don't stress kids too much. Go out and have fun. Look into diet. I think fresh fruits, vegetables, and cut down on processed food. That will be the key.
Well, thank you once again. And to all the viewers, we are giving away some special goodie bags worth RM50 ringgit to 5 lucky winners. So if you want to be part of this giveaway, all you have to do is Step 1. Name one possible long-term effect on children living in this pandemic. Step 2. Tag 3 friends and share this post. Make sure that your account is public. And a special thanks to Enfagrow A+ for supporting this episode of Ask Me Doctor. Remember to never disregard any signs or symptoms and always seek advice as soon as possible. You may book appointments with our doctors should you have any doubt. Visit Columbia Asia Hospital Cheras to make your appointment today. Well, we hope that you enjoyed today's program and be sure to stay tuned for more upcoming videos on Ask Me Doctor, where we'll be answering all of the questions that we as parents are sure to have. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Till next time, I'm Mahira Khan.
I'm Dr. Vijaya Mohan.
And this is motherhood.com.my. Bye.
Bye.